Turn that mic on there. Hey, how's everyone doing? My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is my Wednesday afternoon live. We always get together on Wednesday afternoons about 2 o'clock, and we are always drawing a portrait. It's what we do on Wednesdays, right? Let's see. If you are new to this and want to participate in deciding which portrait we want to draw, join our Facebook group. Our Facebook group, you can find the link down in the description. And on Wednesday morning, usually we'll take a vote. I'll put a couple different portraits you all can choose, and whichever portrait gets the most votes ends up being the one that we draw. So this is what we have today, and I think it's going to be a good challenge. So if you are ready, I'm ready to get going here. I did mention that by the title of the video that there's two shapes you really need to understand when drawing the female face, but it also can apply to the male face as well. So let's walk through those two things before we jump into it. And they're not going to come to any surprise to you, but they're important to know the difference. So, of course, one of our shapes, of course, is going to be a circle or a sphere, and the other shape is going to be a rectangle. All right. So let me show you this. So here is my little plastic skull that I have, and you can see already that the back part of the skull is very round. In fact, it's very oblong looking. Usually when you do draw a side view portrait, you're going to want to make it a little bit longer, okay? But if I turn the head straight at you like this, it has a very square shape to it. You see that? So in profile, a lot of times you're going to have it more circular, but straight on, it's going to be a little bit more square looking. All right. So how does this work for us? So this would be considered maybe like a side view. All right. This might be considered a front view. And here's the tricky thing. When you have a 3/4 view, you actually have one side usually that's going to be flat, and the other side is going to have a very round feel to it. And so that's the case that we see today in today's drawing, 3/4 view. If you look at the far left-hand side of her face, it kind of has a flat feel to it, but then the back side, she has that round aspect. Okay, so we're combining these two shapes. Looking at today's portrait, and we're going to go into detail on this, but you could see, like, if I just simply add the brow line, and then right here, this would be considered the her temple. This over here is going to end up being the side of her head. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but this would be the center line of her face. And this, from the side of her head, you drop a slight straight line here, and then this curves around. This would be the bottom of her chin. And next thing you know, you have the rough makings of a head without any detail in 3/4 view. So let's jump back up here to our examples. So this shape being a front view, typically you would have a line about halfway. This would be the brow line. You have your center line here. Halfway possibly is where your nose is going to fall. Okay. On our side view, front comes down like this. This is your brow line. That's going to be your temple. Hey, Savage. I just saw Savage showed up, and Patty as well. Hello. right here at your temple here, this, of course, is going to be the side of your head. Over here on the front side, your temples are going to be like maybe right up, are going to come in just a little bit. And these are going to be the sides of your head. Jumping on our side view here. This is going to drop down just a little bit. And then you got your jawline coming around. Front view. It's going to drop down just a little bit on both sides here. Going to curve around. Curve around like that, you see? Top part of our head. Nose area comes in like this. The gabella. Almost like a necktie here for the nose. Here's the gabella right there. But then your nose is going to lay flat along that plane right there, you see? Down here, you're going to have your chin. Have your chin over here. Then behind the part of the nose, you'll get the barrel of the mouth. The older you get, the more this becomes prominent. Ears will line up, usually with the brow line back here in this corner region, this lower quadrant. All right, then over here in this lower area, ears are going to come like this. When you draw the ear looking straight on, you want to have the front, this front part right here, like that. And we could do another one on the other side as well. usually the bottom of the nose, cheekbone, bottom of the ear. These are just general. They don't, it doesn't always match this, but they're general proportions. Okay, so that's basically taking our two shapes, all right? A circle and a rectangle shape. And then when we get to 3/4, usually you could find a flat side and then a round side. Let's go ahead then with taking all that information in mind, and let's jump into our picture, okay? And of course, if you, my curves, let's see, that's the area. Okay, let's see. What does Patty say here? I'm sorry, I just kind of looked up. I keep messing up the curves near the eyes for the cheeks. So, okay, Patty, so one thing, that's a good question. So one thing you can do that might helpful is this idea of thinking of a superhero mask, okay? Let's see if I have a, hold on, let me grab something here. Okay, so one thing you might, let me show you this idea here. I have been personally taking a look closely at this method to help locate the that cheekbone a little bit better, and it's kind of this mask idea. And if you think of a superhero mask, okay, this could really help you establish where that cheekbone is, you see? Then over here, so right kind of where that hits, this is about where your cheekbone's going to be. All right? And like I said, if you look at the relationship between the bottom of the nose and the bottom of the ear, you're going to find that cheekbone right about in there. And that cheekbone is, let me show you on this might be helpful here. Of course, the cheekbone is going to be right here. You see that? And if I turn him to the side, you could see that if he had a nose, it lines up right with the nose. Then the ear, this little area here is the ear canal, all right? And then typically a person's head is going to be slightly tilted like this, and so the back of their neck comes right back in here. Right back in here. So a lot of times we could say, oh, the back of neck, bottom of the ear, cheekbone, bottom of the nose. If we look for those, those could be very helpful of locating that. All right, I hope that helps. Great question. Okay, let's go ahead and jump on our portrait here. And first thing I'm going to do is start with a sphere. I'm going to draw it lightly. So this is going to be the side of her head over here, and I'm going to go ahead at this point and draw this straight line here. Now, as I look at her brow line, okay, it's coming at an angle. Okay, that's about the angle I'm going to make for me. So this is going to be the side of her head over here. This over here is going to be the back end of her hair, back end of her skull. Now her hair is a little bit on top of that, but I'm more concerned about the back end of the skull. So with this being said, the next mark we want to establish is where is the temple? Because that's like almost, the temple's almost like the corner of the head, all right? So if I look at our reference, and I'm making a judgment with the side of the head to the temple to the back of the head, I'm going to say the temple's almost halfway. You see that? It's almost halfway. And once I've established the temple, now I can establish the side of her head, you see? Okay, with her temple, and her temple's right where the eyebrow, that eyebrow kind of changes, it changes direction. All right, so now let's get the center line here. So the center line, now, because she is slightly turning towards us, the center line isn't going to be exactly dead center. It's going to be just off just a slight, just a little bit. Not much, just a bit. So this is the angle of her head. So let's get that center line going in the same direction. When you cut off the sides, I'll tell you what I want you to do, Patty. Would you just take a picture and then post it in the Facebook group and tag me in it, and I'll take a look at it, okay? All right. We got the center line here. We got the temple. This here represents our T. Let's go ahead and bring in the front orbital mass. This is this edge that is, it's coming down right there, and you can see it on the side view of her, right, just like that. And it's also it's coming in over here. That becomes her eye line, and we'll come back and get that. All right, let's come down here. This is going to be the bottom of her cheekbone, bottom of the nose, and the cheekbone over here. We're going to take the same angle right there, and it's going to give us the angle of the side of her head. So now very carefully, this is the brow line. This is the line that's going to go right underneath the bottom of her nose. And if we look at the distance from the nose to the chin, I'm looking closely at the sample here, and I think it's going to just double. So that's what I'm going to go with. So that's my guess right now to be the bottom of her chin. Okay, so this is her cheekbone on the far right there. You can see that it's a little bit higher than the bottom of her nose. And so this changes angle and comes right into her chin there. All right, her jaw's going to come down here now. And then roughly, this is where her ear's going to fall. Okay, let's start building it out from her nose. I'm keeping things light so I could go in and darken lines later. That's her glabella. I think I'm going to try and zoom in here. Let me see if I can make my picture bigger for you. All right. Okay, the tip of her nose right here. Ooh, I think I'm going to have to make her mouth a little bit wider down here. Okay. This is why we keep it light, so we can make adjustments. This is where her cheekbone's going to be. This is her eye line. All right, so here's her chin. Barrel of the mouth. All right, let's go ahead and get get her lips in now. So a V. And then this one's going to be, we have to make sure this guy comes way out here. This will be the top of the bottom lip. This will be her bottom lip right here. And then I'm going to do a real light tone where her mouth is slightly open. And then I'm just going to I'm not going to outline the teeth. I'm only going to add the negative space. Okay, our lips are looking slightly flat because they have no value on them. So let's go ahead, and if I squint my eyes, all her lips are going to be a darker value than all of the skin around them. So we want to make sure we drop in an overall value. And then these far side ones are going to be a little bit darker. That's going to give the perception that they're turning the corner. Usually the corners are a little bit darker in value as well. All right, let's come back up here to the nose now. Let's keep filling in some of these pieces here. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of a light tone to the bottom of her nose. Okay, so what did I just do? All right. Just kind of trying to make slight, because these are wax, I can't really erase them, so I don't know why I do that, but yeah, just trying to make some slight adjustments so it looks a little bit more like the photo. All right. Let's keep going here. Let's move up here to the eyes now. Okay. Okay. I'm going to put the eyeball in roughly. Okay, so if I look at the photo, this, and I draw a line straight up from the nose, I could see on the photo is that that's about where the tear duct should start, right about there. So these eyes should be a little bit more further apart. Corner of the eye should overlap that bottom eyelid. Making my lines a little bit heavier to help give the idea of mascara or thicker eyelids. All right. Let's get these eyebrows in place. Oops. Okay, let's come in and work this corner of her head face here. Let's see, this is gonna, we could sharpen this up now. It's gonna come around like this. And I'm just kind of tracing or following the path of her hair. Making adjustments as I go along. This little inside part right here, this is usually where the darkest shadows are of the face. Okay, right now our hair is looking relatively flat. So let's see if we can like break this up to where it starts to turn corners for us. All right. So when I'm doing that, what I'm thinking is like a lot of time if you have an object, this is very flat looking until I do something like this. Now it's has a side that's facing light and a side that is in the shadow. Same thing we want to do with the hair in a way. So let's see here. This is going to be this, that edge is going to turn the corner towards us. So let's just add a tone there. And then this side also. Okay, let's get her ear in place here. I do this teeny little overlap there, right there. And then she has her Y of the ear. Oh, I did forget to mention, if you can remember, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to the video. Here's her earring. And if you're looking for more consistent help, I do have a class called the Daily Draw. let's see. Will I do a class? Patty asks, will I do a class on colored pencil? Probably not, Patty. You know why? Because I only use color pencil because it's a very inexpensive tool, and I'm all about trying to save some money. You know how hard it's go. So I found over the years that I really like Crayola pencils. Now they're not perfect. I don't expect them to be perfect, but they work for just everyday drawing. They also make my hands get very messy. So because they're wax based, they you don't get a lot of pickup like you might with a pencil or a piece of charcoal. Okay, so let's see here. We got this. We've got her other earring over here, right? You also, I saw Patty mention. You said, "Oh my goodness, Kurt, you make it look so easy." Well, that is it's hard. I mean, I know what's going on in my mind, and believe me, I don't want to disappoint, But I would just say this, that success in drawing comes from perseverance. Okay, that's really where it is. And if you have, don't ever think of drawing or art as a race. It's a marathon, and you just have got to persevere. And I always tell people, read books, read how-to books, watch many different artists, many different styles. But the most important thing you could do is to practice a little bit every single day. That really is the essence. And not to segue back into my daily draw class, but that's exactly the point of the daily draw, is to give you a place that you don't have to worry about what to draw. You don't have to worry about how you're doing, because if you post your work in our group, I can see it, and I try and choose ideas that I think will really help you to succeed. So, for example, like in the daily draw on Mondays, we always look at something that is natural. On Tuesdays, we look at things that are man-made. Wednesday's portraiture. Today we're going to look at putting glasses on a person. And then finally, Thursday is character design, and Friday's animals. And have faith. That's right. That's true. It takes, as Savage says, you have to just keep going and know, I guarantee it. If you keep going, you will get better. Okay? I guarantee it. Don't give up. If this is something you want to do with confidence and with ease, or not ease, but just, to a point where you just have got to persevere. And I would tell you, that you should give yourself, I'm going to put the neck in now. You should give yourself at least 1 to 2 years, probably 2 years, 2 years of real solid dedication. I'd say 2 years of drawing at least a half an hour every day. Now that might take you, in order to accomplish that might take you 5 years to get that down. But really, it just takes that kind of time. And anyone could do it. Anyone can do it. All right, let's get this nice curl in here. All right, let's get some other tone in here in the even this whole side of her face is, look at this. This is even dark over here as well. No, I don't do hyperrealism. I'm not a big fan of hyperrealism. I'm not a fan because I really like to. I've said this before. I like more illustrative type of work, where you would find that with like like book illustration and things of that sort. That's where I like. I like to see the personality of the artist to come through their work versus like photorealism. Mine looks like a witch too. I have to go back and retry this one and slow down. That's okay. You'll get there. That's okay. These things take time. Now I'm going back in and adding darker value to her hair because this will add a little bit of contrast. And I think that's going to do it for today. Hey, I appreciate everybody watching and the comments. Those were excellent. I hope that was a bit of a help. My name's Kurt. I'm Dad Who Draws, and this has been our Wednesday afternoon live. Okay, we'll see you guys later. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.